If my mother-in-law had called me a gold digger in private, I probably would have ignored it. Instead, she said it in the middle of my own living room, in front of my husband, in front of his family. And the worst part? No one corrected her. Not even Ryan. She had no idea the house she was standing in had belonged to me long before I met her son. My name is Emma, and I'm 31 years old. 3 years before I met Ryan, I bought a small 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood outside Portland. It wasn't fancy. I worked for years, skipped vacations, drove an old car, and saved every extra dollar until I finally had enough for a down payment. The mortgage wasn't easy, but every payment reminded me that I was building something for myself. When I met Ryan, I never cared about who made more money. He was kind, funny, and easy to talk to. At least that's who I thought he was. We dated for 2 years before getting married. After the wedding, Ryan moved into my house. I never made a big deal about it. It was our home now. Or at least, I wanted it to feel that way. His mother, Linda, visited for the first time a week after we got back from our honeymoon. She walked through every room with her arms crossed. "The kitchen is smaller than I expected," she said. Ryan laughed. "We'll renovate someday." Linda smiled proudly. My son always thinks ahead. I almost told her that Ryan hadn't paid for a single wall in this house. Instead, I smiled and served coffee. That became my habit. Smile. Stay quiet. Change the subject. At first, Linda's comments were small. Ryan deserves a bigger place. My son works too hard. I hope Emma appreciates how lucky she is. Ryan always acted like he didn't hear her. I kept telling myself it wasn't worth starting an argument. Looking back, silence only made her more comfortable. About 6 months after our wedding, Linda called Ryan one afternoon. I could hear her through the phone. "Can I have a spare key?" Ryan didn't even ask me. "Of course," he said. The next weekend he handed her one. I wasn't happy. "Wouldn't it have been nice if we talked about it first?" I asked. Ryan sighed. "She's my mom. She'll only use it if she needs to." I wanted to believe him. I really did. 2 weeks later, I came home from work carrying groceries. The front door was unlocked. For a second I froze. I slowly stepped inside. "Hello?" No answer. Then I heard dishes moving in the kitchen. Linda walked out holding one of my coffee mugs. "Oh, you're home." I stared at her. "What are you doing here?" She smiled like nothing was strange. "I noticed your flower pots outside looked messy, so I came to fix them." I looked around the living room. The couch pillows had been moved. Our family photos were sitting on the table instead of the shelf. Even my favorite painting had disappeared. "Where's my picture?" I asked. Linda pointed toward the garage. "Put it away. It didn't match the room." I took a slow breath. "You should have asked me." She laughed. "Emma, this is my son's house too." Ryan came home 20 minutes later. I expected him to tell her she had crossed a line. And said, he smiled. "Thanks for helping, Mom." Helping. That one word hurt more than I expected, because it told me exactly where I stood. Not beside my husband, behind him. And I had no idea that Thanksgiving dinner was only a few days away, or that Linda was about to embarrass me in front of everyone she knew. Thanksgiving arrived faster than I expected. By 5 o'clock, our dining room was full. Ryan's parents, his sister and her husband, 2 cousins, an uncle, even Linda's best friend. There were 12 people sitting in the house I had worked years to buy. I spent the whole afternoon cooking. Linda spent the whole afternoon acting like she owned the place. She told people where to sit. She opened my kitchen cabinets without asking. At one point she even said, "I'll probably redesign this kitchen next year." I looked at Ryan. He just smiled. "Mom likes decorating." I stayed quiet, but I was done pretending. Dinner started peacefully. People talked about work, vacations, and Christmas plans. Then Ryan's uncle looked around the room. "This is a beautiful house." Before I could thank him, Linda proudly smiled. "My son worked very hard for it." Several people nodded. Then she looked directly at me. "And Emma was lucky enough to marry him." A few people laughed. She wasn't finished. "You know, some women don't marry a man. They marry his paycheck." This time, everyone heard it. I slowly put my fork down. The room became quiet. Ryan looked uncomfortable, but he still said nothing. Linda leaned back in her chair. I guess that's what happens when you find a successful man. I looked at my husband one last time. I was silently asking him to defend me. He lowered his eyes. That was all the answer I needed. Without saying a word, I stood up. Linda smiled. Oh, did I upset you? I walked upstairs. Inside my bedroom closet was a blue document folder. I carried it back downstairs. Everyone watched me. I placed the folder on the dining table. What is this? Ryan asked. I opened the folder. The first paper was the original purchase agreement. The second was the property deed. The third showed the closing date. I slid them toward Ryan. Read the date. He frowned. Then his face changed. He looked at me. This was 3 years before we met. I nodded. Keep reading. Linda grabbed the papers. No, this can't be right. I calmly pulled out one final document. The latest county property record. Owner. Emma Carter. No second name. No shared ownership. Just mine. The room was completely silent. Ryan looked like he couldn't breathe. You bought this house? Yes. Before we even started dating? Yes. His sister whispered. So, Ryan never bought it? I smiled politely. No. I did. Linda slowly sat down. You thought I married your son for money, I said calmly. She couldn't answer. I continued. I never corrected anyone because I believed respect shouldn't have to be earned with paperwork. But today, you left me no choice. Ryan finally spoke. Emma, I'm sorry. You should have told me. I looked at him. I shouldn't have needed to. If you respected me, you would have asked instead of letting everyone believe I contributed nothing. He had no answer. People started leaving earlier than planned. No one was laughing anymore. Before Linda walked out, she stopped beside me. I owe you an apology. I nodded. I accept your apology. But things have to change. She quietly handed me the spare key. I won't come over without asking again. That was the first boundary she had ever respected. Ryan and I spent weeks talking honestly. Not arguing. Talking. For the first time, he admitted he had spent years avoiding conflict because it was easier than standing up to his mother. He started changing. Slowly. Consistently. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight. But effort matters. Real effort. Today, our marriage is stronger because we learned something that should have been obvious from the beginning. A house isn't built by bricks alone. It's built by respect. And once respect disappears, even the biggest house can feel empty. The day my mother-in-law stopped calling me a gold digger wasn't the day she learned who owned the house. It was the day she finally learned to respect the woman living inside it.